Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do a basic dip powder mani. So without further ado, let's get started. For today's mani, I will be using the color SC22 Tahiti from Revel Nail. This is a scent changing color, so it goes from a lighter pink to a darker pink when exposed to UV rays. So quickly, this is what it looks like without it being exposed, and then here is what it looks like when I expose it to my UV lamp for a second. So for me, I personally like to start off with DP90 Crystal Clear on my natural nail, and this is just for easy removal. So I'm just going to go in with some alcohol and just clean off my natural nail. And then I'm going to go in with one layer of UNT peel base. So if you want your mani to last, definitely skip this step and start off with a clean prepped natural nail. But because I like to do my nails quite often, this is how I like to do my nails so that I can pop them off quite easily. So I actually have a video explaining how I do this and how I prep my nails before applying peel off base coat. So if you're interested, I'll leave it in the iCards as well as in the description box below. So now that the peel off base coat is completely dry, I'm going to be going in with my base liquid. So I'm using base coat from Triple Vitamin. And all you're going to do is you're going to apply a thin and even layer of base from cuticle to free edge. So I like to start off using my dominant hand just to make sure that I don't have too much liquid on the brush. And then I go and switch over to my non-dominant hand. So this just prevents me from flooding my cuticles. So now I'm just going to be painting a thin and even layer, starting off a little bit before the cuticle area, and then slowly pushing it up just to make sure that I don't immediately flood my cuticles. So I'm just going to be painting the entire nail. And I know it's a little blurry. I'm working on a new camera setup, so please bear with me. And then once you're done, you're going to dip it into the powder and dust off the excess. Then I'm going to quickly go in with an orange wood stick and just trace around the cuticle area just to make sure if any base or powder got on my skin, I'm making sure to remove that. And then I'm taking my finger and lightly tapping over the powder just to make sure it's nice and even. Now I'm going to be going in with this dotting tool just to keep my powder fluffy. This helps make the application a lot smoother, so the more you dip, the more compact the powder will get. Now I'm going to be going in with this stiff brush, and this just prevents any extra powder from getting into my base liquid. Now I'm going to go in with the second dip, and once again I apologize for the blurriness and for the, it's not focusing on my nail. I'm working with a new camera and new angles, so please bear with me while I figure that out. But you're just going to be doing the same thing. You're going to be painting from cuticle to free edge, making sure not to touch the skin if possible. And I'm just taking my time applying it just to make sure I get every single bit of my nail. And then I'm going to be dipping it into the powder again and tapping off the excess. And here you can see that there's a shiny spot, so I definitely like to dip in a couple times just to make sure that all of the powder has absorbed into the base liquid. And then once again, I'm going to be going in with my orange wood stick just to make sure that any powder or base that got on the skin, I remove that now while it's still wet. And then once again, go in with your stiff brush just to dust off any excess powder. Even though I just did 2 dips, I like to go in and just gain my shape again. So this is how I keep my longer coffin shape when my nails are longer. I like to go in and file every 1 to 2 dips just to make sure that I keep that shape so it's not lost. And then I'm also going to go in with this super thin nail file, and this is my secret to getting perfect cuticles. So since, like I said, I'm working with my non-dominant hand, sometimes I apply a little bit weird, so this is how I get that perfect cuticle line. So I'm just tracing it around the cuticle, making sure to perfect it as much as I can. And then once again going in with a stiff brush to dust off the excess. So I definitely could have stopped here with just 2 dips because I have full opacity and it looks great, the thickness is fine, but I decided to go in with the 3rd dip. So once again, I'm just going in and stirring up the powder just to make sure it stays nice and fluffy. And then I'm going to be repeating the same step. So going in with a thin layer of base from cuticle to free edge, and then dipping into the powder. Now we're going to go in with a clear encapsulation. So here I'm using Sparkle & Co.'s DP90 Crystal Clear to cap my nails. So this is just going to prevent us from filing away any of the sparkles when it comes time to file, shape, and buff. So before I apply that, I'm just going to once again dust off any excess powder and then follow the same application process as before. So apply a thin layer of base from cuticle to free edge and then dipping into the clear powder. Now we're going to be going in with our activator. Here I'm using Revel Nails Activator, and here I have this little fan that I use just to keep the fumes away from my face because Revel's activator is quite strong, as is most activators. I'm just going to be applying between 2 to 3 layers of activator because I did do 3 dips and then 1 dip of clear. And then here I'm going to be going in with my filing, shaping, and buffing technique. So I always start off with the free edge and the side walls just to get my shape the way I want it first. Here I'm showing how smooth the nail actually is, so I really don't have to do much filing, but because I'm a perfectionist, I still will go in and file. I mainly like to focus around the cuticle area and the free edge just so I can get that nice apex, and so I'm just going to be making sure that my cuticle area and around the sides are nice and thin because I personally don't like that little lip. Here I'm showing how I glue together my buffing box. So here I use the orange buffing box you can get from Amazon. I'm sure you guys all have already seen this before. Normally you can put, you can rip off one and use just one, but it's kind of really small. So I like to actually glue 2 together. So I just take any base. Here I'm using the triple vitamin base, and I'm just going to be applying base right in the middle and closing it together. And I like to hold it together with a rubber band just to make sure that it doesn't open at all while it's drying. So I just apply it, and it takes usually only a couple minutes just to dry. I'll put that aside, and I usually do this in the beginning of a manicure so it's ready by the time I'm ready to file, shape, and buff. Here I'm going in with that orange buffer around the cuticles, and I really like this buffer because it gets the job done, but it's also very gentle around the skin. Now that my filing, shaping, and buffing is done, I like to go in with alcohol and a brush. Here I'm just using a toothbrush just to make sure I get all of the dust, and this is what the nail is looking like right now. So I did notice here that there's like a little weird piece around the cuticle area, so I'm going back in with my thin nail file just to perfect it even more. And then I'm going to be going back in with the alcohol just to remove any dust so it's ready for top coat. Here I'm using the Strongest Steel No Cleanse Gel Top Coat from Triple Vitamin. This is my current favorite gel top coat. And I'm just going to be applying a thin coat from the cuticle to the free edge area, making sure to cap the tips as well as the sides. Like I said, because I do use the peel off base coat method, this really helps to keep my nails on a little bit longer. So this is that seal that's going to keep my dip mani on while I wear it for the next couple days so it doesn't pop off as easily. And this is what it looks like before I cure the nail. And here is what the nail looks like right out of the lamp. You can definitely tell the difference here in this video. Here's a quick little close-up of the color. This top coat is so shiny. I'm obsessed. Now that my mani is done, I like to go in with my favorite cuticle oil from Candi Skincare, and this is the green tea scent. And I like to apply it around my cuticles, trying to avoid the top of the nail as much as possible, because if you get any cuticle oil or if you touch the top of a nail as soon as you cure it, you can end up with smudges and the top coat just not being as shiny as it could be. So just be careful and let it cool down for a bit. And then I'm just going to rub in the cuticle oil around my skin. And this is the completed design. So I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!